Welcome to part 6 on our Magnus Carlsen course, where Magnus will make his comeback and will crack some fortresses. This is psychologically, well, this position are seeing now, a very hard moment for Sergei. His strategy worked already, and he has defended very well, and it's just 3 games to go until he's the world champion. Magnus just goes on with his playing style and gets an endgame where he will be playing against the doubled pawns. This is where Magnus has to strike. Personally, I think Karyakin could have won this match if he would have truly believed in himself to be able to get world champion. All psychological speculation, of course, but still very relevant from my own experience. I noticed that if I truly believed I could draw a top grandmaster, I managed, and if I wouldn't, then I would lose terribly. It's something to think about. Magnus playing white here and playing king g2. Sergei plays rook f7, rook fe1. And in this position I would like you to find the strongest move for black. So pause here, take 3 minutes and find an interesting tactical motive. So pause the video. I'm sorry for my French accent just now. I sometimes have to let these accents go out because otherwise they tend to lead their own lives. Well, Karyakin played h5 here, and from this point on a slow maneuvering game starts. Black's going to set up his fortress and white will press. However, he missed an important tactical idea here, which I hope you did find, because h5 looks kind of slow. Rook a f8 is more active, and of course you should activate your pieces as fast as possible. Now it's not very sure how white should proceed actually, because after rook e2, which looks like the most sensible move, black has knight f4 check, g takes f4, e takes f4, and white can forget about winning this game entirely. So I hope you found this nice idea. I think Magnus didn't, so good for you if you did. Let's go on with the game after h5. Knight f1, king f8, knight d2, king e7, rook e2, king d6, centralizing king, looks good. Knight f3, rook a f8, knight g5, putting some pressure on the double pawns there. Rook e7, rook a e1, rook fe8, knight f3 back, and black finds here an interesting maneuver. Knight h8, d4. White has to do something here. E takes d4, knight takes d4, g6 to prevent the split of pawns after e takes d5, c takes d5, rook e3, knight f7, e5 check, king d7, rook f3, knight h6, rook f6, and now Carlsen is going after his first weakness there. Also keeping an eye on e6. White's already in a very good shape. Rook g7, b4, a takes b4, c takes b4, knight g8, repelling the rook, rook f3, knight h6, a5, gaining space here, knight f5, knight b3, king c7, knight c5, king b8, and white has established a very strong position in the first phase of the endgame, but Karyakin is already thinking about fortresses. This is still probably going to get messy, and we'll see if Karyakin is going to crack. Rook b1, king a7, rook d3, rook c7, rook a3, just shuffling the pieces around, seeing what you can threat. That's always a good idea when you're having a good position to scare your opponent like that. And especially in this situation, it was very important to do something like this. Knight d4, rook d1, knight f5 back, king h3, knight h6, f3. So slowly improving the kingside pieces. Rook f7, rook d4, knight f5, rook d2. Also freely improving this piece. Rook h7, rook b3, rook e7, rook d3, rook h8, rook b1, and now black finally makes a blunder. Rook h8-7, and it's not very good now for black because white is covering the f3 square, the f3 pawn, and at the same time white can push b5, and the rook shouldn't be on the same rank because he had to attack the knight on c5. This costs a tempo. So b5, c takes b5, rook takes b5, d4, rook b6, rook c7, knight takes e6. White has won a pawn here and has a winning position now. So the defenses have been cracked. Rook c3, knight f4, rook hc7, knight d5, rook takes d3, knight takes c7, king b8, knight b5, trying to set up a little mating net there, king c8, rook takes g6, rook takes f3, king g2, rook b3, knight d6 check, correctly evaluating that the exchange of knight is actually to white's benefit. So takes, and due to the weak h5 pawn, this position is completely losing. And to make matters worse, Karjakin doesn't play the best defense, rook e3, and it's hard to explain, but it's probably psychology here why he didn't finish the game. e6, king c7, rook takes d4, rook takes e6, rook d5, rook h6. Now this rook is very passive, and with white already being a pawn up, this is probably enough to win. Well, it is enough to win, but we should always be a little modest when talking about rook endgames, of course. King f3, king b8, king f4, king a7, king g5, rook h8, king f6, and white won the game. It was not a flawless game, but it is one of these inevitable games. In most World Championship matches, there are these tense games with lots of mistakes. Just remember Anand against Topalov, or when it becomes serious, like in the end of the match, it more often happens than not happens. I'm reminded of the dramatic last game of Kramnik-Leko 2004, for example. And these games are won on character and not on play alone. And with what I mean with character is like the one who deserves it the most is going to get it, and the one who thinks he deserves it the most. And here Magnus shows this character and wins the game.